To learn to live the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Click the bell notification. It's all free. So today, I thought I'd do something a little different. And I would do a top 10. I've done one top 10 before, and at the end of the video, I'm going to put a link to that video. And it didn't do well, but I didn't really give it a chance to do well. So I'm going to try another one. We'll see how it does. And the reason I'm doing this is I've been working with this gal, living on a dime to grow rich, and she took this class on YouTube, and she suggested that I do a top 10 video. So I'm going to give it a try. So today's topic, I'm going to talk about 10 ways to spend less than $150 a month on your grocery bill, I guess for two people specifically. A lot of this is going to have to do with off-grid stuff, but stick with me if you don't live off-grid. There are items in this list that you can do also if you live in an apartment or in an urban setting. Obviously, if I say you're going to raise goats or sheep, you couldn't do that in an apartment. Raising chickens you couldn't do in an apartment, but you could raise chickens if you live in an urban area. A lot of municipalities now throughout the country are allowing people to raise hens, not roosters, but hens, and so you at least get the eggs out of it. So of course, let's start with number one. Let's make that chickens. Chickens are not very expensive. We got, I think, 14 chickens here, 2 males and the rest are females. Not all are producing eggs yet, but they'll get there. So we're getting about 7 eggs a day. We're only spending about $10 a month on feeding the chickens. It's not very costly. So if we're looking at food costs, a lot of people are going to say, well, you got the cost of the coop and the cost of the run and the cost of the fencing material, and that's all true, but that cost decreases over time. The longer you have the chickens, the less that cost. So let's just exclude all that. Going to the grocery store and spending $800 or $400 each month is really expensive. Whereas my coop that I built, I bet I didn't spend more than $100 on. I don't think it wasn't very expensive. Now, I did spend a little extra money on the tents for the chicken run so the birds of prey wouldn't come down and get them. I also had meat birds. I wanted to make sure the meat birds were protected and they didn't move around too fast. So if the birds of prey would come down, they would grab those meat birds. The thing about chickens is it's twofold. You can get meat out of them if you can have a rooster, and you get the eggs. And the eggs really reduced our cost a lot. So we were buying peanut butter for my lunches. You know, bread costs, what is it? I don't know, $2 or $3 a loaf now. And you can go through a loaf of bread in a week. If you don't go through the loaf in a week, it goes bad. So you got to eat it. So how do you get rid of the bread cost? The eggs. I've been eating eggs for lunches every day. And you can do a variety of things. Of course, I put a little bit of cheese on it just every now and then for a little extra flavor. But that, I was thinking, I'm not using bread for the peanut butter. So it has really dropped our cost for lunch cost. The other thing with eggs is you can make like egg noodles. When you really start thinking about all the things you can supplement your meals with eggs. Carolyn likes to put flour and eggs mixture in with like hamburgers or with spaghetti burger. That gives extra food, free food, because it's from the chicken eggs. I rented a piece of property a while back, a few years ago, and they let me raise chickens on that property. It's becoming more friendly all the time. Number two, this one everybody can do, buy in bulk. We've been buying in bulk quite a bit, flour and rice, sugar. So if you spend like $40, get 80 pounds of rice. Well, that rice is gonna last us a year. And we use it all the time. Now, we've got our rice outside. I've got them canned up in jars here. We also have canned up rice, sugar, flour, oats into little bags also because we ran out of jars. When you're talking about $40 a year, you know, you're breaking that down to basically just a few dollars a month for something that's going to give you many meals each month. When we talk about like chicken and pork, you can mix that in there, make some Chinese food. Number three, canning. Now, of course, a lot of people are going to say, well, I have a freezer, I don't need to can. I kind of don't agree with that. Because canning, you can go to like Save-A-Lot, we'd go to Save-A-Lot, and we can buy 10 pounds of chicken for $6. It's like $5.59. And other people say it's $4 in their area. So let's just give it an average price of $5. So what we do is we buy about 15 pounds of chicken from Save-A-Lot, and we can that up. Now it's frozen food. So if you're gonna throw it in the freezer, you got 10 pounds and you're gonna have to cook all that 10 pounds right away. And because if you thaw it out, then you have to put it in the fridge, and so you're gonna have to eat that pretty quickly. But when you can it, we put it in little pint-sized jars. Of course, it preserves it forever, but then all you're eating is 1 pint of chicken at each setting, each time you cook it. Saves a ton of money that way. Carolyn makes meals, chicken noodle soup. Now we go back to the eggs, she makes her own egg noodles. Egg noodles with chicken noodle soup, a little bouillon, flavors it up real nice, and that gives us sometimes 2 meals. So we'll eat that at supper, and then we can have it for lunch the next day. Of course, and then we save on eggs. We can use the eggs for something else. Of course, a lot of people are gonna say, well, that's not very flavorful if you're always eating the same thing. I've said in many videos, Carolyn has become an artist at cooking. She never makes the same meal twice with the same ingredients, basically. Another one is rabbits. And then again, I tried to make these so even if you don't have a lot of property, you could do rabbits. Now, I'm gonna say that if you have an apartment, rabbits aren't gonna be feasible, just like chickens. But you can definitely do it on a rental property. You can put them in your garage, you can put them out in the backyard in a little cage. They don't take up a lot of room. I've raised rabbits before, and I'm gonna be honest, I didn't like it. They didn't appeal to me. It's not that I didn't like the taste. They taste like chicken, actually. I just didn't like raising them. They were tough to raise for me. But there are a lot of people out there who do raise them, and they get a ton of meat out of them. They reproduce real quick. They get several bunnies out of a litter. So it's a very feasible idea. Again, I'm just not a big fan of it because chickens are twofold. I can get meat and eggs out of chickens. If you're interested in raising rabbits, they don't make any noise, they don't make a big mess, and you can use their manure for fertilizer instantly. Whereas with chickens, their manure has to rest for a year or 6 months. Chicken manure will burn if you use too much, whereas rabbit manure, you can use it right away. So there's a lot of pluses with rabbits. I think I'm on number 5, grow your own vegetables. Now this is something that I've learned in the comment section. There are folks out there who are growing their vegetables even in apartments. You can do it on your patio or something. You can grow vegetables. Tomatoes, I remember one time I bought this little hanger and you could put tomato plants in it, and the tomato plants would kind of fall down, and so you can hang that up just like a little planter. It's decorative. The thing about growing your own vegetables is that then of course you can it, and you're going to start making tomato sauce. So now you're not buying spaghetti sauce. Carolyn doesn't buy spaghetti sauce. Of course, this year we didn't get a lot of tomatoes because we were doing our little test garden. That's a whole different video. But she only buys cans of tomato and tomato paste. And you figure you can buy 8 or 10 cans of tomato and tomato paste for the cost of one spaghetti jar. When you're canning your own vegetables, corn at the store can run up to anywhere around 50 cents, I think. But if you're raising your own corn, the cost is minuscule. Again, you got to can it. And we're going to can corn and green beans next year. If we got enough tomatoes, we'll can tomatoes also. Make food from scratch. This kind of goes back to like the spaghetti sauce. Carolyn doesn't buy spaghetti sauce. She makes her own. A lot of people will go and buy the frozen food aisle. They'll go and buy the pot pies, the TV dinners, and those kind of things. And those just cost way too much money. You have to cook from scratch. Now, we don't have a lot of cooking utensils either, like a lot of people do, like an oven. We don't have an oven. We have to do our oven work out on a grill with firewood. So it takes a lot of effort for us to cook from scratch, but we always cook from scratch. We just don't have the room to store that kind of frozen foods. Drink water. That is all Carolyn and I drink. We don't, of course we drink coffee, don't get me wrong, but just drink water. Don't buy sodas or alcohol. All our fluids come from water, a water source. I mean, I would like to get away from drinking coffee, but it's one of our guilty pleasures. It's just a waste of money to go out and buy a bunch of drinks. I know it tastes better. I put a poll out and a lot of people said, I just can't drink that much water. It's just like saying I have to have the best foods. If you're trying to save costs, this is the way to go. And the thing is if you are buying the water from the store, then you're wasting money there too. Buy yourself a filter. I use a Berkey, and that way you don't even have to buy bottled water. Snacks, popcorn. We only eat popcorn for snacks. We buy the little 2-pound bag and we pop it every night. Of course, we eat quite a bit of popcorn, and it lasts us about 3 weeks. Popcorn's more filling. We watch TV each night, you know, Netflix or Prime, and we have our popcorn, and it's very healthy. As long as you're not using the microwave bags are not healthy. But if you're just popping it on the stove, healthy. Buy sale items. Don't go to the store to buy hamburger. Don't go to the store with the objective to buy hamburger. You go to the store with the objective to buy meat. So whatever they got on sale is what you buy. It could be pork this month, could be chicken next month, could be hamburger. And that's pretty much all we got. And then we can it. We buy as much as we can of whatever it is that they got on sale. And then we can it when we get home. So like the last time we went shopping, we bought 40 pounds of hamburger. It was on sale for $12 for 5 pounds. Bought 20 pounds and canned it up. And you can do this all the way around. If you know they got green beans on sale and you wanted corn, buy the green beans. That's where the biggest savings comes in, is if you don't go in with an objective. Walmart used to sell turkey burger for $1 a roll. And that's all we used to eat because it was so cheap. I got another top 10 video that I'd like for you to check out. I'll put a link right around here somewhere. So I hope I can inspire you to eat cheaply so you can live your dream. Thanks for watching.